To pursue a passion to honor your family history is one thing, but when your family history is 5 generations and your name is on the buildings in downtown Napa, it's completely something else. Welcome to Migliavacca Wine Company. Katie and Vincent, it is finally fantastic to meet you both in person. Heard a lot about the brand, heard a lot about what you want to do with the brand. So why don't you walk us through kind of the inspiration to take the leap of faith and jump into the deep end of wine production? You have a little bit of a history in that.
My great-great-grandfather immigrated here in 1857, and he moved to Napa in 1866 and started a winery, had 10 children. He was very successful during his time in business, and in 1919 his sons had shut down the business because of Prohibition. And I remember being super young at my family's home, growing up, and seeing all of these old logos and old wine labels and pictures, photographs, and I just felt so inspired by it and thought I couldn't believe that nobody had tried to revive the legacy.
So the brand, basically from a wine production standpoint, ceased around 1919.
Yes, that's correct.
And then, so to your point, several generations later, you are sitting around going, why has no one decided to resurrect this?
Yes, way before drinking age as well. So I was not drinking alcohol yet. So
Well, not legally.
Well, no, because I was like 12, so I wasn't doing that yet
good.
then either. But I was really inspired to bring it back to life in some way. And at that time, I didn't know what that looked like. I mean, it made sense. Obviously, the wine would be the vessel to bring it back to life. But I just thought if I could put this out back in the public's eye and try to just have the name and the logo and have people see it again and know the story, because it has such a deep-rooted history in Napa and it's such a part of Napa's story. So years later, I managed, I always knew I needed a winemaker, and so I managed to find somebody to partner up with me and become the winemaker, and we relaunched the brand in 2019, so 100 years later.
Incredible, and I think you hit it right on the head. Having the vision is one thing, but then you have to execute on the vision, and then you need a winemaker, and the winemaker has to have a specific pedigree, and they're not a dime a dozen that have your knowledge, Vincent. So how did you find Vincent? And then Vincent, you've worked with Kirk Vengi, who's kind of a nice name in the valley to have. Tell me a little bit about taking her vision and manifesting that to the vineyard sources and then bringing it all together.
Well, when I first heard Katie's story, for me that was the hard sell, and all it was finding out that this legacy that we all know exists here in the valley, and you see visitors come through, and you hear tasting room professionals sometimes have this misguided idea that we only started making good wine in the Judgment of 76.
Right.
And I grew up in this valley in St. Helena. I was in Boy Scouts with Kirk. His dad actually came on my first 50 miler, Nils Vengi. And I had no idea that these guys were winemakers. They were just part of the fiber of this place that made it work. And you grew up working in vineyards and bottling lines. And when I made my way back to the valley, after some time living abroad, I knew that I was gonna make wine, and working with Kirk has been great for that, because he really just has this blueprint of Napa Valley, the Sonoma coast, this part of the world. It's in his mind, and the 100 different little sites that we work, and getting to be his harvest sampler my first year, and then getting to make wines that I now make in our portfolio that fell out of his portfolio, and vice versa, for that matter.
And so talk to me, us, a little bit about the portfolio. Obviously, you're paying respects to the heritage, so there's Sangiovese, but where are you today, and then where do you want to be in 5 years?
So right now we have a Sangiovese, a Vermentino, and a Rosato, and we wanted to stick, true to the story, just with the initial couple of releases Italian varietals.
Some fantastic wines.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We have a Cabernet that I started making out of a vineyard that was another family friend of mine. We have Sauv Blanc in process. So that more typical Napa profile for today's Napa is coming, and it's going to be fantastic.
Well, and the thing we've always said for years is everything starts in the vineyard. And so when you have access to someone who knows the vineyard sources, that is 80% of the battle.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, we are honored that you chose to pursue this romantic dream at the age of 12 and see it to reality at the age of 21, because if this is any judge of what's to come, we're all in for a very, very special treat. So thanks so much
Thank
for
you so
sharing.
much.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Cheers.
Special time today with Katie and Vincent, proving once again vineyard sources lead to something special in the bottle. And Migliavacca Wine Company has what it takes to stand the test of time. Do yourselves a favor, get some of this wine. Thank you so much for all your support.